Quick quiz. What percentage of China's economy is private companies? 10%? 20%? Try 60%. How many patents does China file every year? More than America. Try more than America and Europe combined. How many Chinese people travel abroad each year? 50 million? Try 154 million. That's half the population of the United States. If these numbers shock you, good. Because everything you've been told about China is a myth. Today we destroy 5 of them. Everything you know about China is wrong. Not a little wrong. Not, well, it's complicated wrong. Completely, fundamentally, embarrassingly wrong. You think the Communist Party owns everything? Wrong. You think China just copies? Wrong. You think Chinese people have no freedom? Wrong. Today, I'm going to destroy 5 myths about China. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why Western media gets China so catastrophically wrong. Let's start with the biggest lie of all. Myth number 5. China doesn't innovate. It just copies. iPhone, Xiaomi copy. Facebook, WeChat copy. Tesla, BYD copy. Westerners invent. Chinese steal. This is one of the most common beliefs about China, and it's completely wrong. The reality. Shock 1. Patent dominance. Do you know how many patents China filed in 2023? 1.6 million? The United States and Europe combined? 1.4 million. Yes, China files more patents than America and Europe combined. And this isn't just 1 year. China has been number 1 for 4 years straight. If China is just copying, why is it the most innovative country by the numbers? The reality. Shock 2. Reverse innovation. But wait, maybe these patents are worthless, right? Then explain WeChat. WeChat is not just a messaging app. It's a super app. Messaging, payments, shopping, calling taxis, paying bills, booking appointments, all in one app. The West has nothing equivalent. Facebook Messenger tried this. Failed. Apple tried this. Failed. Because WeChat wasn't a copy. It was an innovation. Or consider Alipay. In 2011, Alipay pioneered QR code payments. Apple Pay launched in 2014. 3 years later, China didn't copy. The West copied. Or TikTok, the most addictive algorithm ever created. No Silicon Valley company has built anything close. Instagram Reels, TikTok copy. YouTube Shorts, TikTok copy. Who's copying whom? The reality. Shock 3. Technological leadership. Today, China leads in many sectors. 5G, Huawei leads globally. America banned it because it couldn't compete. Electric vehicles, BYD outsold Tesla globally. In 2023, it became the best-selling EV company. High-speed rail. China has 42,000 kilometers, more than the rest of the world combined. So no, China doesn't copy anymore. In many sectors, the West is copying China. China is communist. The state owns all companies. There is no private sector. I'll prove this belief wrong in 2 words. The reality. Shock. 1. 60% private sector. 60% of China's economy is private companies. 60%. More than half. 80% of urban jobs are private sector. 70% of innovation comes from private firms. If the Communist Party owns everything, how are these numbers possible? The reality. Shock 2. 800 billionaires. Do you know how many billionaires China has? Over 800. More than America. Jack Ma, Pony Ma, Tencent, Lei Jun, Xiaomi. They all founded private companies. They all became billionaires. Alibaba, private company. Tencent, private company. Xiaomi, private company. The Shanghai Stock Exchange, $7 trillion market cap. There shouldn't be a stock market in a communist country, right? The reality. Shock 3. Foreign ownership. But maybe foreign companies can't enter? Wrong. Tesla owns 100% of its Shanghai factory. No forced joint venture. Apple manufactures in China through Foxconn. Starbucks has 6,500 stores in China, more than any country outside the US. The twist. So is China communist? No. Is China capitalist? Also no. China is capitalism with Chinese characteristics. What does that mean? Here's what it means. The Communist Party doesn't own everything. It controls everything. Big difference. Alibaba is a private company, but there's a CCP member on the board. You can buy and sell Tencent shares publicly, but the government can shut it down. Jack Ma can be a billionaire, but he can't be bigger than the party. This isn't capitalism, and it's not communism. It's a hybrid system, and no Western country has anything like it. China's debt bubble, China's real estate crisis, ghost city, imminent collapse. You've heard this before, many times. The reality. Shock 1. 30-year prediction. Here's something interesting. People have been saying China will collapse for 30 years. 1990. China will collapse in 5 years. It didn't. 2000. China will collapse in 5 years. It didn't. 2010. China will collapse in 5 years. It didn't. 2024. China will collapse in 5 years. Still waiting. The reality. Shock 2. Actual growth. Now let's look at the actual numbers. 1980. China's economy was 10% the size of America's. 2024. China's economy is larger by purchasing power parity. China lifted 800 million out of poverty. It created a middle class of 400 million. That's larger than the entire US population. It created the world's largest auto market. It created the world's largest e-commerce market. Is this a collapse? The reality. Shock 3. Crisis management. But Evergrande? Real estate crisis? Yes, China has a real estate crisis. Evergrande collapsed. Country Garden is struggling. But here's the question. Did the system collapse? No. 2008 financial crisis. America collapsed. China grew 9%. 2020 COVID. Most of the world shut down. China was the first major economy to recover. 2023 real estate crisis. Evergrande was contained. No systemic collapse. China faces crises. Every economy does, but it manages them. Conclusion. Has China's economy slowed? Yes. From 10% growth to 5% growth. Is it collapsing? No. It's maturing. China is no longer a developing country. It's a developed economy, and developed economies grow slower. This isn't collapse. This is evolution. Chinese citizens are prisoners. They can't travel. They have no choices. Total surveillance. You'll be shocked at how wrong this belief is. The reality. Shock 1. 154 million travelers. Do you know how many Chinese traveled abroad in 2019? 154 million. That's half the population of the United States. If Chinese people are prisoners, how are they vacationing all over the world? Paris, London, New York, Tokyo. Chinese tourists are number 1 in global spending. The reality. Shock 2. Consumer choices. 900 million internet users. More than America and Europe combined. 1 billion smartphone users. Chinese consumers choose between 100 plus car brands, 1,000 plus clothing brands. China has more shopping malls than America. The reality. Shock 3. Economic freedom. Chinese can start businesses freely. They can buy property, 70-year leases. They can choose careers, cities, lifestyles. The middle class lives better than their parents could ever imagine. The distinction. Here's the nuance. Economic freedom, high political freedom, low. You can complain about traffic, pollution, corruption on social media. You cannot criticize Xi Jinping or the Communist Party. Remember what happened to Jack Ma? In 2020, he gave a speech criticizing the government. 3 days later, his $37 billion IPO was canceled. He disappeared for 4 months. The message was clear. You can be a billionaire, but you can't be bigger than the party. Conclusion. Chinese people have more freedom than Westerners think, but less freedom than Western democracies. It's not black and white. Beijing controls everything. One plan, everyone follows, just like the USSR. This is the biggest lie and the most shocking truth. The reality. Shock 1. 3,000 CEOs. China doesn't have central planning. China has 3,000 mayors, and each mayor runs their city like a CEO runs a company. Let me explain what this means. The reality. Shock 2. The mayor economy economist Keyu Jin calls this the mayor economy. Here's how it works. Step 1. Beijing sets a goal example. Dominate electric vehicles by 2025. Step 2. 3,000 mayors compete. Guangdong mayor. I'll build 100 charging stations. Shanghai mayor. 10,000 subsidy per EV. Shenzhen mayor. I'll ban gas cars by 2023. Step 3. Mayors compete for GDP growth, promotion to Beijing, investment, factory locations, innovation, tech hubs. Step 4. Result. China went from 0% to 60% of the global EV market in 5 years. The reality. Shock 3. Evidence of competition. Tesla Shanghai factory, 10 months. Texas factory, still not done after 3 years. COVID hospital, 10 days to build a 1,000-bed hospital. Nobody believed this, but there's time-lapse video. It's real. High-speed rail, 42,000 kilometers in 15 years. Rest of the world total, 20,000 kilometers. Why this isn't Soviet? Soviet Union. One plan. No competition. Slow. China. One goal. 3,000 competitors. Fast. Conclusion. China isn't centralized. It's decentralized competition. This is the secret nobody talks about. This is why China moves so fast. This is the mayor economy, and no Western country has anything like it. 5 myths. All wrong. Myth number 5. China copies. Wrong. China innovates. Myth number 4. State owns everything. Wrong. 60% private. Myth number 3. Economy will collapse. Wrong. Been waiting 30 years. Myth number 2. No freedom. Wrong. Economic freedom is high. Myth number 1. Central planning. Wrong. 3,000 mayors competing. Why do these myths exist? Because Western media doesn't understand China. It sees China through the Soviet Union. But China isn't the Soviets. It sees China through democracy. But China isn't a democracy. China is unique, hybrid, evolving. And if you want to understand it, you have to let go of the myth. Now you understand the real China. The question is, when will the world catch up? This is episode 5 of US versus China, the New World Order. If you want to understand the forces reshaping the 21st century, the economic wars, the tech battles, the military standoffs, subscribe now. We'll break down the strategies, expose the miscalculations, and predict the future, because the New World Order is being written right now, and you need to know what's coming.